As former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, he also ran for president as a Republican in 2008 and 2016. Governor Huckabee, thanks for joining us on Morning in America. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Anna. It's been a long time, and delighted to be with you.
Perfect. Well, do you believe that the prosecution met the burden of proof that former President Donald Trump falsified business records in order to benefit the presidential campaign?
No, I think it was a disaster. I mean, there was a reason that the federal government refused to prosecute this case, and the Southern District of New York also refused to prosecute this case. And finally, Alvin Bragg decided he was going to prosecute it with evidence or not, and he went forward with it. But so many legal scholars that, are not Trump supporters, people like Alan Dershowitz, esteemed Harvard law professor, have called this the most ridiculous and embarrassing injustice that they've ever seen. And I think the reason is because you have a judge who's presiding over the trial who is a Joe Biden donor. His daughter is making millions of dollars as a Democrat consultant. The conflicts of interest here are just enormous. And his decisions almost always favor the prosecution and goes against the defense. He shuts them down, doesn't let them bring witnesses in, doesn't give them opportunity to bring evidence. I mean, it's just been a sham. The worst part yesterday was that you had the Biden communication director from the White House showing up to do a press conference outside the courthouse. What does the White House have to do with a state court trial in New York if this isn't all a political show? So I think we know the answer. Will Trump be exonerated? I don't know. It's a New York jury. That's going to be tough because, Biden got about 87% of the vote in Manhattan. So will he get a fair trial? I don't know. But I think most people believe that on appeal, this thing is thrown out faster than a fastball at the World Series.
Well, do former President Trump's 34 charges of falsifying documents violate federal election laws? Because that's really what has to be proven. It's not that he had some sinister activity going on with the catch and kill and all of that. It might make you not like him even more, but it was what he was doing illegal.
Well, and they didn't do a good job. They didn't even try to prove it. They never said what was the underlying crime. In order for this to be a federal crime, because really what they had was a misdemeanor on a state charge, and the statute of limitations had already played out. So they had to create the predicate that there was a federal underlying crime that gave them the ability to even bring it up in state court. They never really defined exactly what that crime was and how it was carried out. And that's one of the problems they have. What they did really discover was that Michael Cohen, who is a convicted, not just accused, but a convicted perjurer and liar, he actually admitted on the witness stand that he stole money from Donald Trump. So he's added to his own, discredit that he's not only a serial liar, he's a thief. And that's pretty bad when he's the star witness. But they wouldn't allow the Federal Election Commission, this is Judge Merchan, who wouldn't allow the Trump defense to bring the former chairman of the Federal Election Commission in to testify for the defense. He's the one guy that had the credibility who could talk about federal election law. Why didn't the judge allow him to testify? I mean, that's the kind of thing that has been going on in this trial that makes it really not a legitimate judicial process, but really makes it a political theater.
Yeah, and so the judge really needs to make sure he delivers those instructions to the jurors in a methodical, perfect way in case there needs to be an appeal that would be coming if he's found guilty. Governor Mike Huckabee, thanks for your time. Really appreciate you coming on the program.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.